President, please be seated. The court is now back in session. The floor is now given to the defense team for Nguyen Chia to resume the questioning. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honours, Counsel, Mr. Witness. Mr. President, before I start, let me follow up a bit on the questions raised just before the break. Questions as to the sources of Chanda and Duiker. There is actually a source used by Chanda in his book E3/2376 in relation to the quote on Czechoslovakia. There's a footnote on page 437, English ERN only 00192-622. It's footnote 49. It's in relation to the February 78 plenum. It says, author's interview January 1981 with a well-placed Vietnamese official who, quote-unquote, for the sake of history, provided me with many of the details about Vietnamese preparation for military intervention in Cambodia. For obvious reasons, he wants to remain unnamed. So that's one answer, one follow-up issue. I've also talked about articles from Chanda's hand in the Far Eastern Economic Review, articles that speak about Sao Pim. They are actually on the shared materials drive. So if you would like to have a closer look at these articles, you can find them on number ERN shared materials drive S00014053. That's an article from 15 December 1978. There's one on S00014450. It's an article February 23, 1979. And there is an article August 11, 1978. That is S00011805. 3 articles mentioning Sovana alias Sao Pim. We'll be filing, because it's an issue and Rule 87 request, to have them added to the case file. Having said that, Mr. President, let me now move on to my questions again. Mr. Witness, it seems that you do not know very much about what happened in 1978. Maybe you do know something about events of early 1977. Let me start by giving you a document that is from your hand, and then I will ask you a question about this. With your leave, Mr. President, I would like to show the witness document E3/1197, Khmer ERN 00002267, English 00506641. French ERN will follow shortly.
Yes, you may proceed.
Please have a look at paragraph 3 of this document, and maybe we can put it on the screen as well with your leave, Mr. President. Yeah, there it is. Mr. Witness, in paragraph 3, you speak about the involvement of Brother Un and Comrade Woon from Division 310. You say, but now this problem has been fixed. We deleted and retyped the information. Do you remember this document? And what was it exactly that was happening with Un? French ERN is, by the way, 00498636.
President, you may proceed. International Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
I just want to note, Mr. President, that the paragraph in question is discussing a confession that was reported to Ankar. So my same comments as before, that the witness should be reminded that in answering the question, he shouldn't be providing information that may have come from S-21 confessions.
Mr. Witness, do you remember this document?
Answer. When I submitted the report up the line, I usually put my signature, and usually it was not typed.
Do you remember when Un was arrested?
Concerning the date of arrest, I cannot recall all the dates of the arrests in relation to over 10,000 prisoners at S-21, so I cannot recall the date of Un's arrest.
Let me help you a bit. About 2 months later, 18 February 1977, would that be correct?
Let me make my reservation that I do not want to give any explanation on the date. I am confused.
The document that I read earlier to you, the minutes of the meeting of secretaries and deputy secretaries of divisions, E3/13, meeting during which Son Sen spoke about Czechoslovakia. Un, the division commander, was also present. So 4 months before Un's arrest, Son Sen was addressing the issue of external and internal enemies with Un present. Would it be fair to say that in October 9 and presumably also 23 December 76, there was no suspicion against Un, or is that not correct?
Mr. President, this question can be answered by me. I was called into a meeting, and when I was called into a meeting, it does not mean that Angkar did not yet suspect the individual concerned. Everyone who was arrested was suspected by Angkar long time ago, and they were under surveillance concerning their continuous activities. So in relation to the meeting that Eun was there without my presence, I cannot recall the date, and I do not recall either who implicated Eun at the initial stage. Usually, the one who was suspected by Angkar did not know, was not let known by Angkar. And as for the enemies who implicated Chuk, Janjak, Kray, and other individuals, they did not know. Those people did not know that Angkar suspected their activities.
Let me put it differently. Mr. Witness, apparently 9 October 76, there was no suspicion against Eun. 18 February 77, he is arrested. What happened in between those 4 months? What happened between 9 October 76 and 18 February 77?
Many things had happened, and the decision to arrest him was made by the party. It was not me who made the decision. Eun was implicated by many people already, and after he was under surveillance for quite a long time, then he was arrested.
Mr. Witness, I realize that according to your own testimony, you are a mid-level cadre who doesn't know very much, but at least you should be able to tell us what was the reason that Eun was arrested. What happened in those 4 months that led to his arrest? What events? What facts?
I am not certain about that, since that happened a long time ago. I could only speak of the issue which I have known, particularly in relation to the prisoners who were implicated. And as for the case of Eun, who was implicated, who implicated him, I do not know, and I do not know either what had happened to him in that 4-month period. Who implicated him, what happened to him, could not be recalled by me. And Eun was under surveillance for quite a long period of time, and I do not know either. A70 was following the activities of Eun by itself, and I do not know about that either. And the things which happened beyond the outside of S21 were not known by me as well. As far as you are concerned, the events had happened 40 years ago.
Well, your answer confirms indeed, Mr. Witness, that you do not know very much. But let me see if I can help you. As you know, I'm not allowed to use any confessions with you, not even Koitun's confession. I'm not allowed to use Bon's notebook or Tui's notebook with you. I'm not even allowed to use the content of the minutes of the meeting where Son Sen and Un were present. However, we have all kinds of other evidence that I will be soon confronting you with. But before I do that, do you know whether Un, together with Koitun, Chanchakrai, Hun Sen and others, was involved in a rebellion, an attempt to stage a coup d'etat, which involved attacks, military attacks on Pochintong Airport and Radio Phnom Penh?
And your answer should not draw on your knowledge from confessions. If any.
That's a very good addition, Judge Fentz.
Thank you. You mentioned the names, and one of which was Hun Sen. Is there the name Hun Sen in the document you quoted?
Yes, so my question is, outside of your knowledge of interrogations at S21, do you know anything about plans for a coup d'etat, plans to stage a rebellion, plans which originated from Koitun, Un, Division Commander of 310, Chanchakrai, Hun Sen, the present Prime Minister, and others?
First of all, I would like to explain the names mentioned by you. Most of the names were known by me, and they were detained at S21, and at the time I did not hear the name Hun Sen, and this name Hun Sen was heard by me after 7 January. And in relation to the attempt to stage a coup d'etat, which Hun Sen was involved, I have no knowledge of it. Although I was in charge of the case of Yuan, I did not know about the plan of Yuan. And in the confession of Yuan, there was the name Koitun. And concerning Koitun, I was not allowed to mention his confession here. And whatever was written by Koitun was not read by me. And even if I had read the confession, I would not have understood the meaning within the confession. I would only send the confessions up the line. Again, I, in the past period, never heard the name Hun Sen. And I have no knowledge of the attempt to stage a coup d'etat. I have no idea about the arrest of Yuan, supposedly because of the attempt to stage a coup d'etat. I have no idea about it.
Does that mean you also have no idea about simultaneous military attacks on Pochintong Airport and Radio Phnom Penh?
President, please hold on. Mr. Winner, you may proceed, co-prosecutor.
Just clarification, is he asking whether they were actually attacked, or is he asking whether he knows of whether there were plans to attack Pochetong and the radio.
It's all about plans. Plans. So it didn't actually happen, Mr. Witness, just to be sure, but plans to stage a coup d'etat, accompanied by attacks, planned attacks, military attacks on Pochetong Airport and Radio Phnom Penh. Is there anything that you've heard about? Does that somehow sound familiar? And please don't draw your answer from confessions, as that's not allowed, as you know. But try to see if you can remember anything about conversations with Son Sen or any other discussion of results of investigation outside of S21.
I do not know about the plan, and Sun Sen and I did not discuss the plan either. This is my true testimony concerning Eun Kun, what confession they had made, and the reason of Eun arrest again and again were not known by me. Eun was under civilian, and the same happened to Kun occurred a long time ago. And then there were confessions implicating those people, after which the two individuals were arrested. I do not know, as I said, about about the persons who implicated Eun.
Well, Mr. Witness, I've prepared for you a binder. It's right in front of you, the green binder. Let me say the following in order to introduce this binder and the evidence to you. We have assembled so far statements, WRIs, testimony from about 10 former combatants of Division 310. And all of them speak about plans for a coup d'etat and military attacks early 1977. The plans were thwarted because of discovery. Let me, because I'm not allowed, as you know, to read confessions to you, let me guide you through that binder, and let me see if I can somehow jog your memory, Mr. Witness. Let me start with document 4 in your binder. Mr. President, that is E3/509. It is a WRI from a Division 310 combatant, English ERN 00282217, Khmer 00270159, French 002855978. Did you find it, Mr. Witness, so that you can read along? It's document 4, number 4 in your binder. And the Khmer page for you is 00270159.
President, court officer, please assist the witness in finding the specific page of document to expedite the proceedings.
Mr. President, if it's convenient, with your leave, I will put the page on screen as well, so that everyone can read along.
Excusez-moi, le RN en
Excuse me, what is the English ERN?
00282217. Let me start reading, Mr. Witness. In 1977, I went to work the rice fields at Bang Krayap. One day, I was called to a meeting at Wat Phnom, where Tayyim, the battalion chairman, made an announcement to the combatants of Battalion 306 regarding plans to carry out a coup d'etat, a coup. He said that at 3 a.m. we would open fire and attack and take the radio station near Wat Phnom in order to make an announcement. That night, suddenly, Ta'un Tassinun, the former Battalion 306 Com, along with Un, who was at the Ministry of Commerce at the time, Taban, regimental chairman, and Tayyim, battalion chairman, were called by the upper echelon of the organization to a meeting and then disappeared. A little bit further, question: do you believe that there was actually a coup plan? Answer: yes, it was true. Approximately 300 combatants had attended a meeting at 4 p.m. and listened to Tayyim make an announcement on the plan, and after that the weapons were readied. Were you able to follow it, Mr. Witness? I see you're reading, so let me move to the next document. That is in your binder, document 2, Mr. President, E3/7535. It's a DC Chem statement of another combatant in Division 310. He's also known as 2 TCW 1029. English ERN 00324-168. Khmer 00087817, French 00324-206. He talks about Un. At that time, he was linked to the Yun, who wanted to uprise in Phnom Penh. Did he plan any plot on that? He planned an attack plot. Unfortunately, when that plot was compromised, we were transferred to farm paddy for a while. Question: can you elaborate on Ta'un's plot? Answer: first, he called us for a secret meeting and instructed us that he planned to attack Phnom Penh. He told to liberate and take control of Phnom Penh. Further down, English ERN 00324-172, Khmer 000878222, French 00324-210. It was not, according to the according to that preparation, did you think that his force could defeat Pol Pot? Answer: it was not that easy, I guessed. If we could not defeat Pol Pot, we would appeal to Vietnam and called for force at the east under Chakrai to help. A little bit further. Sure, I guessed. First they planned to attack from inside. When the plot was compromised, they planned to call for help from the Yun. End of quote. you go now to document 3, Mr. Witness, E3/7540. This is another North Zone combatant from Company Division 1. It's a female, known as 2TCW 1030, English ERN.
International Political Lawyer, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry to interrupt my colleague. To understand properly what my colleague is doing, he's going to read a series of 10 excerpts of transcripts, and then he will put questions to the witness. I thought he was going to put questions on each extract so that we should be able to follow him properly.
I'm not going to read the evidence of all 10 combatants. I don't have the time for this. I see that the witness is reading, so I will combine a few extracts which have all the elements, and then at the request of the civil party lawyers, I have no problem in going into each aspect itself. I'll have...
The witness is reading one document, and you start reading other excerpts. How could he follow you? Because to me, I am lost too. He is focusing on one particular document, and you keep reading other excerpts from other documents. Please clarify it. Because I am lost with your own strategy.
Okay.
And I noticed that witness Kang Gek-il wants to speak. You may proceed, witness. Thank you, Mr. President. In fact, I'm trying to follow what was read by the counsel, but I got lost. So please be slow and make sure which specific document you refer to. I try to keep up with you on these 3 or 4 documents, but I got lost on the tracks.
Yes, it's because I don't have so much time. I try to be a little faster, but that doesn't work. So let me go back to the first document then, document 4. Mr. Witness, there we have a Division 310 combatant speaking about plans to carry out a coup in 1977 and an attack on the radio station. So let's stick with this statement first. He also refers to Ta'un, who is instrumental in this coup. Having read along with me on that first document, E3/509, does that somehow jog your memory?
Allow me to read it to make it more precise. In 1977, I went to work at the rice fields in Bang Projab. One day I was called to a meeting at Wat Phnom, where Tajam chaired the meeting, who was the battalion commander. He made announcements to Battalion 306 about the plan for coup d'etat, and that we should start at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that we should get hold of the radio station in Wat Phnom. That night, Ta'un Sin Nguyen, former battalion chief, who was at his time at the Ministry of Commerce, and Bone, Regimental Commander, Jim, Battalion Commander, were called to a meeting by the upper echelon and disappeared. And by 4 a.m., we did not receive any more information, and we disbanded, and I returned to Bang Projab. A few days later, someone from the southwest Pin replaced Un, and then during a meeting, a tape was played, and that Un and Si Nguyen were in the traitorous network and had been arrested. And they said that they planned a coup d'etat, and they were in the traitorous network of CIA and KGB. I did not hear the voice of Un or Koi Trun. Upon hearing the voice of Si Nguyen, President interrupts. Witness, please read only the highlighted portion of the passage. And please observe the microphone before you speak. We started to say that here, we said that we supported the coup d'etat, but since we were not taken care by ONCA, in particular the matter of insufficient food.
Thank you very much, Mr. Witness, for reading it again. Maybe that is even easier if you just read it out loud, then I don't have to do it. Is this something that refreshes your memory?
Regarding the passage that I just read out, it sounds a bit strange. Si Nguyen had been arrested before Un. This is according to my recollection. As for Jim, that name does not ring a bell. And I did not hear of this plan to attack at all while I was at S21. Regarding the plans to get hold of the radio station near Wat Phnom, I was not aware of such plan. I believe this statement is rather imaginative. It is surreal. The content is so surreal. For such a matter that mentioned in the passage, there was not sufficient grounds to arrest the concerned individuals.
Well, luckily for us, we have another 9 Division 310 combatants who say the same thing. Let me do it differently and ask you to read the next document, at least the highlighted excerpts, Mr. Witness, because that is how it seems you need to have it presented. Please go to document 5. And meanwhile, Mr. President, that is E3/7516. That is someone the chamber knows well because he appeared in this chamber on the 22nd of June 2015 and on some other days as well. Mr. Witness, binder document 5. This is a commander in Division 310 called Sem Hun. Maybe you can read the orange parts and then out loud. Why not?
Witness, please observe the microphone. And counsel, bear in mind that you need to provide to the parties in the chamber with ER numbers for proper transcript.
Yes, of course. He'll be reading first from 00876-495 in English, Khmer 000-20576, French 00892645. then he will continue with a few pages afterwards. This is going to take a while, but I suppose this is the only way to make the witness talk. So, Mr. Witness, can you start reading Sam Hoon's testimony?
Witness, please observe microphone. Witness. Counsel, please specify the Khmer ERN so that I can follow it. And I am here with the document E3/7516, but please specify the ERN number of that page.
Mr. Witness, the only thing that you have to do is read what's in orange. Don't worry about the ERNs, I will do that.
Court officer, please assist the witness. The document is E3/7516. Witness, the person was Huyen, who wants to build an airfield in Kampong Chnang, and who was implicated due to political tendency. He was sent and detained there. He was asked to transport weapons to Po Chin Tong at the location of Paikhiu in order to prepare for the plans to attack and capture the Po Chin Tong airport, the artillery, and another regiment would capture the radio station. However, the plan was leaked. Then 2 chiefs were arrested. And here it is unclear to me. This person and that person are from the rice field. Otherwise, the attack would happen in 1976. The person who provided this statement was not sure himself of the plan. I recall that this person, Huyen, was not a cadre in Division 310. I know Eun, whose native name was Sbao Im, and I even know the deputy commander who was imprisoned with me. His name was Chum Cho. And later on, he was promoted to deputy commander of a division. But this name, Huyen, does not ring a bell to me at all. As for the plan, it seems that it is not a real or workable plan at all.
Sam Hoon is someone who's alive and, as I said, appeared here in this courtroom. If you can move in that same number 5, a few pages ahead, and you will end up in the transcript of his testimony, Mr. Witness. His testimony on the 22nd of June 2015 at 15:34. Where it's orange, and he says, I transported weapons to Kampong Cham, and 1 month later the information was leaked out and Eun was arrested. So if you see that transcript, that's 15:34. Did you see it? I transported weapons to Kampong Cham. 1 month later, the information was leaked out and Un was arrested. You see it? And a little bit further, that same minute, there were different types of weapons, such as M79, AK rifles, and Peking. And if you move a little bit further, at 15:40 in the afternoon, he says, it's highlighted in orange, the plan to capture Pochentong Airport was in mid-77, and there was a plan to seize and capture Pochentong Airport in mid-77. You see that? And that same minute, question, so it was a combined attack of Division 310 with East Zone divisions? Answer, yes. It was the combined plan, and the East Zone would engage in the attack in its own zone, and the North Zone would be responsible for its own. Did you see that, Mr. Witness? Go a little further, 23rd of June, just before 9/11. Question, but was it also the intention to overthrow the government of Democratic Kampuchea? In other words, to stage a coup d'etat? Answer, that was the ultimate aim, that is to conduct a coup d'etat. You see it? Did you?
Counsel, you need to be slow and to specify the relevant EN number so that the witness can follow, and that is also for the parties and the chamber to follow. Otherwise, only you and the witness can follow your point, not the parties, nor the chamber.
Well, that's not entirely correct. I was reading from a transcript, Mr. President. That was evidence that you heard yourself, and I was referring to the same transcript, but at different times. But the witness should be following it easily because it's all written in orange, or highlighted in orange. So I don't think there's a problem in following. But, Mr. Witness, here is someone in the trial chamber, appearing as a witness, Sam Hoon, who confirms there was a military coup or a plan for a coup d'etat with military attacks. Can you react to that, please? And does it somehow refresh your memory?
Counsel, what the President has just said, that is what I wanted to ask the chamber as well. When you refer to even the highlighted portion, please refer to the EN number of that particular page. Because when I start focusing on this particular segment, then you move on to another page and I am lost. President, Counsel, you allow, in fact, you ask a witness to read the passage, and while the witness was reading it, you move on to another passage, and he gets lost.
But we are in a peculiar situation that this witness insists in reading along, you were in a situation that I have limited time, and he repeats whatever you are saying, but there aren't any ear-ends. So I think it's much faster if I read it, and then I'll ask him whether he can give his comments. It's a little bit bizarre situation that the witness decides what the order is.
The way you proceed may even delay your time. I understand that you provide a highlighted passage for you, but then you need to provide a proper EIN. Or better still, you may read out the excerpt of the passage.
The average outsider would think that we just started this trial. But forget about Sam Hoon, Mr. Witness. There are too many excerpts. Let's move to another excerpt. There's only one. Go to excerpt 8. That is document E3/7583. It's a DC Cam statement of a company commander of Division 310. English ERN 0876559. French 004079996. Mr. Witness, it's the second excerpt in your document 8. It's E3/7583. It's a person named Hoon. Did you see it? Let me read it to you. I will read very slowly so that you can read along. He talks about that same meeting with Un. He says,
Counsel, please provide the Khmer EIN number.
00053869 is Khmer. French 004079996. English 008765559. Do you see it, Mr. Witness? It was a treasonous meeting because they were going to stage a rebellion. It was a CIA meeting. At that time, they were planning to attack Pol Pot garrison, but they failed because Ta Un, who was in the same clique with Hun Sen, was arrested. Do you see that quote? Are you with me?
Thank you, Counsel. This time, yes, I'm with you. So it's a good practice that you provide the relevant EIN number. Do you want me to read this passage, or do you prefer to read it? President, Counsel, please read the passage, and witness, you need just to follow his reading, just to make sure that his reading is consistent with the passage before you, which is in the Khmer language.
I just read it, but I'm happy to read it again. It was a treasonous meeting because they were going to stage a rebellion. It was a CIA meeting. At that time, they were planning to attack the Pol Pot garrison, but they failed because Ta Un, who was in the same clique with Hun Sen, was arrested. Does that jog your memory, Mr. Witness?
Thank you, Counsel. I know Comrade earned, but as for Hun Sen, I was in the dark.
So nothing still comes up in your memory? Nothing? Coup d'etat? Military attacks? Rebellion meetings? Nothing?
Allow me to be frank with you. These statements are just surreal, and they do not seem to be a concrete plan at all. I do not believe these statements, not at all.
Well, like I said, we have assembled evidence from 10 Division 310 combatants. Some were interviewed by DC Chem. 2 appeared here. The investigators interviewed one of them. So the evidence is real. But let me finish, otherwise we will take forever, with one last quote. And read along with me, Mr. Witness. Please go to number 3 in your binder. E3/7540. Khmer 0005577. English 00337712. French 00364274. Do you see the passage? Mr. Witness, read along with me. Question. It would have erupted? Yes, it erupted in 76, but I cannot recall the month. I have forgotten the month. In late 76, we were going to erupt, but it was exposed. The 2 North Zone divisions were readied from Wat Phnom northward. The East Zone in charge to the south was ready to fight, but it was exposed. And Kuhn, the chairman of the North Zone, was arrested. Here is a female Division 3, Division 1 North Zone combatant who speaks about the involvement of Khoi Toon, Kuhn, the chairman of the North Zone. Does that ring a bell?
President Witness, please listen to the passage read out by the Defense Counsel, and you just need to compare it to the document before you, and you need then to respond to its question whether you are aware of the situation. And that is the strategy used by the Defense Counsel, and you need to respond even if you know it, or even if you don't know it, just say so. Witness. Thank you. In relation to the previous text, that is with EN ending 070, I could follow you. And now let me refer to page with an ending 078. Do you want me to read, or do you prefer to read by yourself?
Mr. Witness, don't circumvent. Don't just answer the question. If you don't know, it's fine as well.
No, I do not circumvent anything. President Witness, please respond to the question. This is the strategy used by the Defense Counsel, and you need to respond if you know it or not. The document is shown to you in order to provide you background to the relevant information in the question, and you need to respond. As a witness, you have to respond whether you have known, have heard, or seen, or experienced the event. And if not, please simply say so, then the counsel can move on. And please observe the microphone. Witness, thank you. Although I do not read the document in full, I can say that I do not know about the plan. I still stand by that statement, and allow me to say it once more, that the plan versus the real.
So all those Division 310 combatants, all those 10 people who are still alive today, they've all made up the story of their involvement in a rebellion and a coup d'etat?
President, you may proceed. International Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
Mr. President, he's entitled to read these to see if it refreshes the witness's memory. He's not entitled to engage in an argument and about who is the credibility of these witnesses. If he really wants, if it was really appropriate, which it is not, the witness would need to examine the details, so to ask him to comment on credibility is inappropriate.
Well, the reason I'm taking so long with this peculiar witness is that I was hoping by actually reading the excerpts to him that would somehow make him give evidence, but apparently it doesn't. But I'm still entitled to ask the question whether he believes that all these 10 combatants who give a lot of details about these 1977 plans are simply not telling the truth, or whether the witness just simply doesn't know.
Has already told you he thinks it's not the truth. If your question effectively is why they are not telling the truth, you're asking him to speculate. So, as you said, he has said one thing. You have confronted him with many other statements. As to why these people made other statements will be up for us to figure it out.
Let me try it differently. Mr. Witness, I put it to you that you as a mid-level cadre had really no idea what was going on in DK. Is that true?
Mr. President, Your Honors, each and every individual has different understanding and limited understanding, and my understanding is based on the confessions at S21 and instruction from the party. And concerning the interviews of the 10 combatants from Division 310, I have no idea. And if I said I do not know, you would put a follow-up question and you will press me on that matter. I told you already that the plan was a real and imaginative one. And I told already that the plan was surreal. And if the plan was true, then follow-up questions are appropriate. Since I am here to testify in relation to the particular matter.
Let me move away from the Division 310 coup d'etat plans and go to another region, the Northwest Zone. We've also assembled all kinds of evidence coming from the Northwest Zone. But let me limit my...
President. It is now the appropriate time for the break. The chamber will take the short break from now until 3 p.m. Court officer, please assist the witness in the waiting room during the break time, and please invite him back into the courtroom at 3 p.m. The court is now in recess.